Hi there, I'm DeDe. Today we're going to do a meditative flow, a series of yoga poses over the next 30 minutes that are designed to build as well as utilize our natural grace, poise, our ability to balance, and our ability to flow together, our breath and our motion. We're going to finish with a brief standing meditation at the end. And here's what you'll need. You won't need shoes or socks. If you're on a hard floor, you will need a yoga mat just for some non-skid and padding. You'll need some water to take sips of periodically. You'll need lots of space around you for your arms and legs. And you'll need to give yourself permission right now to skip something if it doesn't feel right for you, or to take one of my options. So let's begin with some standing deep breathing. Come to mountain pose with feet directly down from your hip joints. Knees are slightly unlocked and your pelvis is level. Your ribs are gently pulled in and quiet. Your shoulders are down and back. And of course, ears are back over the shoulders. Now let's take our hands together in front of our heart. And then for just a moment, let's close the eyes and feel yourself in this position and breathe. So start to let go of any judgment or comparison to what you've done in the past or what someone else has done. And just really be open to the possibility of your own personal grace and poise and ability to flow and balance. Because that's really all that you're here for, is just to do your practice. Allow the breath to move through your torso in an expanding way. Check in periodically to make sure that you're not holding on to any chronic tension, like tension in your jaw, or tension across your eyes or forehead, or maybe tension in your shoulders. Let that tension go. And then if your eyes are closed, let them open now. Let's release the arms down. And then we'll go up on our right tiptoes, just the right side, and then down and the left side. Starting to stretch and limber through our feet, limbering through our calf muscles and our ankles. In order to lift your heel up easily, you have to shift your weight over to one side and then over to the other side. But let's try it now without shifting the weight too much. So your hip will hike up on one side and it will come down, and it will hike up on the other side and it will come down. So you're lifting your heel without bending your knee or shifting the weight too much. You can go back to shifting the weight if this other variation doesn't feel right. Now let's move with our breathing. So we'll inhale the heel up and exhale it down. Go at your pace. One more time each side. All right, and then both heels come down. Let's press the palms together once again and go side to side, limbering through our wrists, our forearms, and our hands. Just a gentle press. See if you can keep the shoulders out of this movement. Now let's circle the fingers around like we're drawing a circle up on the ceiling, and then reverse. One more. Now let your arms come down. Roll your shoulder up and around on this side, and then on this side. And let your torso turn a little bit. Turning your focal point, turning your head maybe. If turning your head causes you to become a little out of balance, just keep your head facing forward like this. Otherwise, turn. And then we'll come down. Now both sets of tiptoes. Lifting your heels up, doesn't have to be very high. And down. Turn your palms to face me. Inhale. And exhale. Flow with your breath. Our brain, our nervous system, our body responds to this rhythmic, flowing movement and breath. When you put them together and they're repetitive, like these are, then our nervous system calms down and we feel calmer and more tranquil, peaceful. So if going up on both sets of tiptoes makes you feel off balance, feel free to be next to a wall or a countertop or a sturdy chair where you can steady yourself. It's okay if you move to a different part of your space to do that. And when we're done with that, you can come back to where you started. One more. And then we come down. Now spiral the arms around so the palms are facing forward. Shift your weight forward toward your toes. Inhale, your arms go back. Shift your weight back toward your heels and exhale. Arms go forward. And we'll do it again. I'm going to show you from the side. So center of gravity, your pelvis goes a little bit forward. And then your pelvis goes a little bit back. When you shift the weight into your heels, your toes are light. And now your toes are heavy. Couple more. One more. Now we come back to our mountain pose. Inhale, you still might need the wall or the chair or the countertop. Exhale, lift your knee, hold your shin. Inhale, arms go back. Exhale, hold your other shin. You can flex your foot on the lifting side. Let's bring the arms up a little higher and then down toward the shin. So your leg will lift up to a certain degree, but then your arms take over and you use the strength of your arms and your back to pull your leg up a little higher maybe. Maybe. All right, both feet come down. Inhale, bend your knees a little bit, push your hips back. Exhale, hinge forward. We'll do this a few times. Again, I'm going to show you from the side just so you can get a better view of the joint angles. Support with your hands on your legs. That's key. So the shape of your back here is the same shape of your back here. One more of these. You're going to stay down this time. Now inhale, tailbone lifts toward the ceiling. Exhale, tailbone drops toward the ground. And back and forth, moving through your low back, your lumbar spine. Can you feel what's happening in your low back? And can you coordinate it with your breathing? All right, now we come back to neutral spine. Inhale, stand all the way up, and then exhale, hands in front of your heart center. Turn sideways, come back onto your mat. Inhale, bend your knees, exhale, slide your hands all the way down this time, so more bend in your knees perhaps. Release your neck, your hands go to the ground, and then we'll walk the hands forward and we'll walk the feet back. So now we're in downward facing dog. You can just approximate where your hands and feet need to be. And let's alternate our heels. Pressing one heel at a time down toward the ground. All right, and then we'll walk our hands and feet closer together once again. The feet are right under the hip joints. The neck is still relaxed. And the knees are as bent as they need to be. Now, straighten one knee a little bit more than the other, and then switch. Now, there's a bunch of different options here. You can have your hands way up here on your shins, if that feels better, if you don't want to have your head down too low. You can have your hands on your yoga blocks, if you have those. You can have your hands on some stacked up hardback books, or you can do what I'm doing here, just have your hands lightly on the ground, or feet. All right, feel what's happening in your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, maybe your calves also. Now let's walk back into our downward facing dog. So hands forward and feet back. Now we'll move into plank pose. So one straight line from heels through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Let's do it again. Inhale into plank. Exhale into downward facing dog. Two more. You should be feeling a bit warmer now. One more. Okay, now pick up your right foot and step it forward. So then take your right hand behind your heel and step the rest of the way forward with your foot. Now we're in a low lunge. Keep your balance, have your chair right next to you if you need it. Hands on your front thighs, start to come up to a higher lunge. Hands on your hips. Inhale, straighten both knees. Exhale, bend both knees. Now you don't have to go real deep here, but you can if you'd like. Inhale up. And exhale down. Make sure your front knee is not going beyond your ankle. One more. All right, take your hands down. Return to your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Remember, we're finding grace, poise, and flow. So that means we're moving with the breath. And we're not rushing. Now on your next inhale, step your left foot forward and then step the rest of the way forward with your hand behind your heel. And then find your low lunge, knee over ankle in the front. Keep your balance as you come up. Hands to your hips. This time, arms out like a goalpost, if that's okay. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Back to the goalpost with the arms. Reach up as you inhale. And exhale down. 2 more. All right, now we need to be facing each other. So turn around if you need to. Turn your toes out toward the corners of your mat. Bend your knees. And then we'll inhale, straighten, sweep the arms up. Exhale, sit back, sweep the arms down. Push wide with your knees. And do it again. A little bit of light support if you need it. Keeping your eyes on one stationary point if that helps you with your balance. Otherwise, you can change your focal point from up to forward to down every time. Take your hands on your thighs now. Turn your fingers in. Your knees are bent. Inhale, exhale, twist. And then inhale, center when you're ready. Exhale, twist. Do it again. All right, we're coming up, straightening the knees. Put your hands on your hips once again. Make sure your toes turn out in the same direction as your knees. Now inhale, bend your right knee, a little side lunge as you exhale. And then do it to the other side. Inhale, exhale. All right, now we're going to the right. Inhale, exhale, push your left hand. And then we'll switch. Nothing fancy, just flowing from side to side. Now you don't have to turn your eye gaze. You can keep looking at one spot if that suits you better. Keep steering your knee in line with your ankle. One more. All right, coming to the center. Take your hands over here by your right foot. You're in a low lunge. You can be on fingertips, fists, palms, or yoga blocks here. Inhale, drop your hips down, keep your back leg straight or straight-ish. Exhale, straighten your front leg a little bit, and then do it again. Drop down, inhale, look out in front of you, and then exhale, look back toward your back foot. 2 more. Now we'll hold here with this front leg a little bit straighter. Try not to have one hip any further away from the end of your mat than the other hip. And if you're not using a mat, just imagine that you are. That will help you square your hips. Now we'll bend our right knee and we'll walk hand over hand around to the other side. And we'll find our low lunge over here on this side. Bring your yoga blocks with you if you're using them. All right, drop down. Inhale, look a little bit forward. And then exhale, look a little bit backward as you straighten a bit. And then do it again. Find your grace. Flow with your breath. Now we stay with the straighter leg. See if you can relax your neck a little bit more. Square your hips. right? We're coming around to face one another. Now your toes are facing toward me, my toes are facing toward you, and you have your hands once again on your blocks, on books, fingertips, fists, palms, whatever feels comfortable for you. Let your head come down a little bit more if you can. All right, and then we come about halfway up and we turn the toes out in the direction of the knees. Take your hands up onto your thighs and slowly begin to rise up. All right, now we turn our left toes in a little bit and our right toes straight out to the right. Make sure your right kneecap is also facing that same direction as your toes. Let's move into Warrior Two. Now, it's really important that you have the right distance between your feet. And believe it or not, that's the same distance that you had for plank. Okay, so make sure that you still have that distance. You don't have to check the way I just did, but you can if you want to. Pelvis is level. Warrior Two. Now, you don't have to sink down super low, but you do want to have your feet far enough apart. All right, here's our flow now. Inhale. Exhale, rest your right forearm and take your left arm overhead. And then we inhale back to Warrior Two. And then we exhale this way and we lean back and your hand rests lightly. Let's do it again. You're still facing me with your navel and your chest. One more time. Now your front knee is still in line with your ankle or slightly behind your ankle. All right, easy does it now. Come up, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, make sure your kneecap also turns. Turn your navel and your heart toward me. Find your Warrior Two, that's where we're starting. Drop as low as you can. It doesn't have to be 90 degrees, but get as close as you can. Now we go forward first. So inhale, exhale. This is the side angle pose. Inhale, Warrior Two. Exhale, reverse warrior. And then again. Try not to think too much about balance. Keep your eyes on one stationary point if balance feels like a concern for you right now. Otherwise, you can change your eye gaze. One more all the way through. And then let's come up. Now we'll step the feet in closer together. And we'll reestablish our mountain pose. Try not to go into the past with your thoughts. Try not to go into the future with your thoughts. Stay right here, right now, in your mountain pose. All right, if your eyes are closed, you can let them open. Inhale, your arms come out. Exhale, sit straight back with your hips, bend your knees in line with your feet. That's chair pose. Let's do that again. Now a little bit more about balance. Come up lightly on your toes of your right foot and then sit back. Lightly on the toes of your left foot and then sit back. And we'll do it again, lightly on the toes, or if you're comfortable, you can pick your foot up and then back to the chair. Keep your back straight. And then left foot, just the toes if that's better for you. Now, can we try crossing the ankles? So stand up first, inhale. Cross your ankles, sit back as you exhale. Inhale, stand up, knee. And then exhale, don't cross the ankles this time. Let's try the left knee. Cross your ankles, sit way back with your hips, way back. Now go in reverse, knee and chair pose. Stay here. Chair pose, shoulders down, chest is broad, shoulder blades in toward your spine. And then reach toward me if it doesn't cause your shoulders to elevate. Push more weight into your heels. Breathe. Hands can be here if that's better. And then we'll come all the way up. So, holding on to something if you need to, take your right foot back, bend your right knee if you can, hold your right ankle if you can. Bring your knees side by side and pull your front ribs in. Stay here, breathe. Feel the stretch in the front of your hip and your leg. Let's switch. Hold on to something if you need to. Left foot back, keep it on the floor, or bend it and hold the ankle. Now adjust your rib cage and your pelvis. Knees are side by side. And then your left leg crosses in front. Your left hand goes here and your right arm goes up and over. So your front knee is bent and your back knee is straight. Push your hips out as far as you can. Feel the stretch through your waist, but also down into your hip and maybe down into your IT bands. Between the side of your knee, the side of your hip, this area, that's where the fascia comes to a band-like shape on the surface. That's called our IT band, iliotibial band. Let's come up with an inhale, and then we'll exhale, we'll reverse. So left foot steps out, right leg steps across, keep your front knee bent. Let's go this way this time. Push your hips way out to the left. And then we're coming up. Now you're still facing me. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see this better. Feet are underneath the hips. Soften your knees. Come forward to about halfway. Keep your back long and straight. Your neck is also straight. And then with your hands on your shins or up on your thighs, try to straighten your knees a bit more. Try to do this without rounding your back, not even a little bit. You feel the stretch down the backs of your legs? I hope you do. Now, if they're not already there, hands on your thighs, bend your knees a little bit more, hinge up. And then we'll place our hands like we're putting them into our back pockets. And we'll press the shoulders down away from the back of the skull, and we'll open the chest up here. Breathe. Try to do this without forcing your rib cage forward. So not here as much as we're here. You feel the stretch across your chest and shoulders. All right, let's release that. Roll your shoulders around and back and down. Step your feet out, and then we'll twist and come up on our toes. Twist, twist. Let your arms go a little bit. Make sure you're not going to smack anything with your hands. Let your arms wrap around you, and then we'll come back to the center. All right, so how do you feel? Were you able to find some poise and grace? Were you able to balance? Were you able to flow together your motion and your breath? If not, that's okay. Just making the effort to do it will eventually make it very possible and very achievable. As usual, thank you for joining me, and until next time, be well.